Hello, my cozy beans, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast. If you've been here before, then you probably already know the drill. But if you are new here, welcome. And one thing I want to tell you is before I get into the meat and potatoes of the episode, I want to do a little bit of a catch up just to tell you all some life updates, what I've been thinking, what I've been working on, and things like that. So if you don't really care about that, it's fine. I'm not offended. Just skip ahead. But if you want to stick around for that, then I guess you're in for a treat because I've been working on a secret project, I guess you can say. I decided to start streaming. I haven't debuted it just yet. I will tell all of you, my cozies, when I'm about to debut, so you guys can come in and say hi and hello and hang out with me. But I've been working on my debut. I've been working on setting up Twitch. I've been working to set up Streamlabs. I've been working to set up OBS and just like everything that I need to have a smooth flowing stream. And I'm really proud of myself. If I told my younger self that I would be streaming in the future, my younger self would be flabbergasted, shooketh, because I think my younger self would have chosen death over streaming. I was severely anxious. I had social anxiety. I was very shy, very reserved, and really scared of just being seen, of being heard. I didn't even like raising my hand in the classroom to just ask if I can use the restroom. I don't even like ordering food, or I guess didn't because it's in the past, but I didn't even like ordering food. I didn't like talking on the phone. I was just very I had severe social anxiety. And so I would have chosen death over streaming. But years and years later, where I am currently right now, I have worked really, really hard on my self-esteem, my confidence, and I feel like I'm ready. I mean, a little part of me feels anxious, but not in a bad way, in a good way. I'm really excited to build a community that I never had, which is the essence of why I am choosing to stream. Yes, we're here for the vibes. We're here to have fun. We're going to play really cozy games. And, I'm not even going to play the game to completion. I will eventually, but I'm really going to just take my time playing the game, enjoying the illustrations, enjoying the soundtrack. And we're just really here for the vibes. So I'm also going to do a variety of things other than gameplay, like some art, some baking perhaps, and some wellness talks like this podcast. So yeah, I'm really, really excited. And I think this is a really good, new thing for me. And I'm just really excited to create the community I never had, I never had comfort. I really never had a tight-knit community. I never had safety. And that's everything that I want to create in my community. Whatever I'm doing, whether it's YouTube or my blogs or streams, it's always about comfort, safety, being seen, being heard. So yeah, I talked about this in my previous episodes, but I truly believe that nothing is a coincidence. And I didn't start streaming out of nowhere. I definitely got inspired. a lot of streamers have been popping up on my feed, even though I have not been searching them up. And I've also been watching a lot of streamers, or not like a lot, like two. One of them used to be a streamer. She's not anymore, but I follow her on YouTube and listen to her podcasts. And another one is actually, they used to be in a VTuber agency. Not anymore, I don't think. So I recently watched this person's live stream, catching them in their just chatting portion after their gameplay. And I used to be, I still kind of am, more of like an anxious chatter. So that's why I mainly just lurk. Chat was flying. Like they were like a medium-sized streamer, but chat was flying. And it's hard for me to insert myself in, but I mustered up the courage to do so. And you would think that I would get rewarded for it. But instead, it left a very sour taste in my mouth. But I guess my reward, you can say, is the inspo, because now I'm creating a podcast inspired by that sour interaction. So thank you, VTuber. You opened up a trauma wound for me, and forced me to heal further, which is super painful and not pretty, but I feel so much better. And I'm talking about this in this podcast with people on the internet. So thank you. It all happened way too fast. So I don't think I can really tell you exactly what the tone was, but it did definitely made me not feel good. And then I tried to sort of, clarify myself. But yeah, this was like my first interaction with this VTuber, and I was like, this just went south real fast. So after that interaction, I cried. I actually did cry. Yeah, this stranger made me cry, and the thing was okay, I just let myself feel it. And after this interaction, I just let myself feel the heaviness pressing on my chest, the hot tears spilling down my cheeks, and the sharp sting of memories surfacing from years ago. It really reminded me of why I'm anxious chatter, because I don't just come in being an anxious chatter from the get-go. Something had to happen for me to be anxious. And I think this goes for everyone too. You're not naturally born to be an anxious person, a socially anxious person. Something must have happened, right? So I felt that sting of why I'm an anxious chatter, and it really did hurt, but I didn't push my emotions away. I just let them be, because emotions don't make us weak. They remind us that we're human, okay? And true healing doesn't happen when we run from pain. It happens when we face it head on. I didn't judge myself either, nor the other person. So often, I think when we're hurt, I'm guilty of this too, our mind quickly scrambles to rationalize things. Why did this happen? Who's at fault? What's the logic behind it? Why did this happen? Why was it like this? But the thing is, not everything can be explained. Sometimes it's just miscommunication or misalignment, and no one is to blame. So after just sitting in the pain and having a good cry for 10 minutes, which honestly was very, very relieving. This is a side note, a tangent, if you will, but I truly believe that it's okay to cry, and crying does not make you weak. Doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. Crying is your body trying to It's a physical manifestation of your inner emotions, of your emotions. Right? It's just like when you get nervous, you might start pacing, you might start playing with your fingers, you get all shifty, and crying is like your body telling you what's going on. So I don't think crying makes you weak. And honestly, sometimes we do need a good cry. We just need a very good cry. Like, I don't think anybody cried and was like, oh, I feel so bad. Like, oh, that felt so horrible. I think we feel a little bit better, even if it's just 1%. So yeah, after a good, several minutes of crying, something actually unexpected happened. Creativity began to stir. It was as if the pain itself became compost, breaking down and nourishing the soil for something new to grow. Emotions actually live in the body as much as the mind. So before long, I found myself moving, swaying my hips, shaking off the heaviness, and even dancing, really, partly to sort of clear the remnants of this pain, but also partly to celebrate the tiny spark of inspiration sprouting within me. That's the beauty of processing emotions through the body. What feels heavy can also become a seed for healing. And I recognize that sitting in our emotions is not easy. It really isn't, because I'm going to say something and it's going to be a complete metaphor, but if you know me, I like to speak in metaphors. So it's really scary to sit in our feelings, but think of it like this, okay? Our emotions, okay, this is something that I coined. I'm going to take that credit and say I coined this, and it's called emotion ocean. I also like to rhyme. Okay, that's my thing. Emotion ocean. And because think of it like this. Emotions are like the ocean. They're vast, unpredictable, and deeply interconnected. On the surface, the waters might look calm and glassy, reflecting the sun with ease. It's beautiful. But beneath, the currents swirl unseen, pulling us in directions we don't always understand. And when storms gather, waves can crash over us with such force that it feels impossible to keep afloat. But just like any sailor or diver knows, not that I am a sailor or diver, side note, I almost became an actual sailor, like as a job, but we're not gonna talk about that. Yeah, no. So just like any sailor or diver, the ocean isn't something to be conquered. It's something to be respected and navigated. Our emotional lives ask the same of us. When the waves of grief, anger, or disappointment rise, it's tempting to build walls, to avoid the water, your emotions altogether. But emotions are meant to move, not to be bottled up. The storm raging within you in the ocean, in your emotional ocean, might feel frightening, but storms always pass. And the key is not to avoid it, but to learn how to ride the waves. Right? So here are some, I guess, metaphorical navigation practices and tools to help you ride those waves. You need a sturdy ship, which is our resilience, built from self-awareness and compassion for others and for ourselves, right? Have compassion for yourself. Don't jump straight into beating yourself up or feeling ashamed that you feel the way that you feel. Also, a good sailor needs a map and a compass, which are the grounding practices that can help us decipher fact from fiction or truth from assumption. We also need a good anchor, the rituals, the people, and the places that remind us we're safe even when the waves roar. And movement itself. Remembering that, like the tides, emotions flow in cycles. Feeling them fully is how we return to calmer seas. You gotta keep moving instead of staying still. So I allowed myself to sit in this discomfort of my reopened wound. I was stepping into my own ocean instead of running away from it. And to my surprise, the deeper I swam, the more treasures I found. Pain became compost, tears became release, and creativity bubbled up like hidden springs under the surface. That's the paradox of the emotion ocean. What feels like drowning can also become a portal to renewal. By learning to swim with the currents of our emotions rather than fight against them, we unlock a powerful skill, the ability to transmute pain into fuel. Storms don't just leave destruction behind. They churn the waters, stir up the unseen, and often reveal what we need most to grow. So, feeling the pain, your emotions, and sitting with it is one thing, but transmuting it is another thing. What I like to call transmutation or soul alchemy or emotional alchemy. And no, it's not just for wizards. This ability to transmute pain into fuel, in my case, creativity, is not something I chose as much as it was something that life demanded of me. So yes, resilience takes effort and practice, but my training ground wasn't dedication alone. It was the relentless waves of challenge after challenge, each one forcing me into a choice. Either let the pain break me or learn how to break it down into something new. If you listen to my other podcasts, then you would probably know that I wasn't exactly handed a map for my emotional waters. My parents and most others in my life never taught me how to navigate the tides of feeling. Instead, I was constantly told, directly or indirectly, to toss my emotions overboard as if they were unnecessary cargo. But emotions aren't disposable. They're the currents that carry us. And without those emotions, I drifted aimlessly, confused, until eventually I cracked. And it was in that breaking that I found freedom. Because once I was broken, once I was shattered, I realized I could piece myself back together however I chose, or even build something entirely new from the fragments. So the act of being broken lit a small fire within me, one that pushed me to seek out resources, practices, and tools to finally chart my own course. Without even knowing it, I had already begun alchemizing pain into beauty before I even knew what that even was. So I can't really pinpoint exactly what kept me searching for light in the darkness, but I do know this. There are few practices that make navigating the storm a little bit more possible. And what I did for me was deciphering fact from fiction, asking myself what they said about me, is this really true? Or is someone just saying it because they're projecting onto me? I had people tell me the same things over and over again, but eventually I realized that just because people keep on saying it to me over and over and over again does not make it necessarily true. So when I was back in college, I would always stay behind for summer and take summer courses. And I maxed out the number of credits. I forgot how many credits it was, but I was taking like 5 classes or so. And so I already maxed it out. And I had everyone telling me to drop those classes because they didn't believe I had what it took to pass those classes. They were like, oh, like, you should just drop it because you're not smart enough. Just drop it because you don't have a potential. Just drop it because you're just not capable enough. And these people were my parents, my mom, my dad, and my boyfriend at the time, and even my school counselor. Like, these people literally told me that I was not capable enough, so I should just drop those classes and just take like 2 or something. And it really stung. I was like, dang, like, these people really think I'm not capable, huh? Like, they have no hope for me, and they don't think that I'm a very like bright person, a capable person. Like, it really did stung. But even though these people kept on telling me that, and it was people that I really cared about, and it was just like, I was just like, you know what? No, I think I'm capable enough. Like, damn, like, I think like I have overcame so many things in my life, and I'm very, very capable. But it's you guys, those people who keep on telling me those things that began to mess with me. And I was like, you know what? No, like, you're not gonna have a hold of my mind anymore. You're not gonna brainwash me with your narcissistic tendencies. I will like, thank you for your opinion. I now know what you think of me, but no. So I stuck with those classes. Yeah, I took like 5 classes and, maxed out all the credits. And you know what? I didn't just pass those classes. I got all A's. Yeah, that's right. I was really proud of myself. And I even told those people, like, here's the proof. Like, you don't think I'm capable enough? Well, here's the proof that you're wrong. And they didn't like have anything to clap back at me, because how could they, Oh, I don't know. Classes were probably easy or something. I don't know. But anyways, it's like, you really have to sort of decipher is if like what people are saying, like, they're just projecting onto you, or if it's true. Because sometimes we can really like get into our own heads and think like, oh, this person, like, for example, like, I can really get into my own head and be like, oh, this person must think that I'm like so and so, like stupid or rude or blah blah blah. But it's like, that's just my own like thinking. That's my own assumptions. I don't know that. So decipher fact from fiction, and also resilience. When people talk about resilience, it's usually painted as tough, unbreakable kind of thing, pushing through no matter what, grinding until you make it and never giving up. And yes, sometimes resilience looks like that. But in my life, honestly, I don't even know how I kept going at times. It wasn't about being strong in the way people usually meant. For me, resilience has also meant choosing myself. It's knowing my self-worth enough to say, nope, I don't need to prove anything to anyone. I can step back, I can take a break, and that doesn't mean I failed. Sometimes resilience is letting go of what isn't serving me instead of holding on out of fear. I've been told I've had natural resilience, but I think what that really means is that I've learned to bend without breaking, to rest when I need to walk away when it's right, and to keep choosing myself even when it's hard. That to me is resilience too. So, resilience, choosing to stand again even after countless falls, does not mean pushing yourself to your breaking point. We don't want that, but it means, being like, again, non judgmental and choosing a different approach. Emotional presence. Oh my God. So, allowing myself to feel the pain without letting it define me. Allowing myself to sit with the pain and be like, I feel pissy and that's okay. I feel sad and that's okay. I feel angry and that's okay. I feel whatever and that's okay. It doesn't make me any less of a person. Yeah. Like just really allowing yourselves to feel your emotions without letting it define you. So, and like there's other methods as well, but these are just some of the things that really helps me. And so when I practice this kind of alchemy, pain doesn't remain pain. It transforms, right? We kind of redefine the pain in a way, right? We sort of unpacked it. And when we do emotional unpacking, which is another term that I'm going to coin, you can really sort of like be like, oh, so this is why I feel this way. Or like, oh, like this is not actually true. The pain transforms and it becomes fuel, right? Fuel for passion, for motivation, for art, for the softness the world so deeply needs. So I learned a lot from that interaction. So thank you, VTuber. You literally ripped open a wound for me, rubbed salt in it, but now I am wiser and stronger for that. So thank you. Like, I think it couldn't have come at a better time because I am getting ready to debut like streaming on Twitch. So yes, thank you. I learned so much though from that small interaction. It just like opened a huge like conversation for me. It really taught me that it's possible to be disappointed in someone but still love, like, or support them. To know that they're human and that they make mistakes. They say things that aren't so savory, aren't so sweet. They do things that can tick us off, but that doesn't mean that they have ill intentions or they're trying to hurt us or that they're a bad person. It just means that that this thing happened and it sucks. So yeah, it also showed me the strength of forgiveness. Not because I believe what happened was okay. It was definitely not okay. Like you have a platform, you have a community. I feel like it's like your duty to sort of, build a community and not just let people throw themselves at you and thirst for you and say all these wild things. And, like, damn, like I've heard like this, okay, not to throw shade or anything, but like, I just really think like if you're going to build a community that you better step up, like you better be a good leader. Okay, not that I am a good leader, but I'm learning and I have the intention to be. Because some people are just have like, followers and they're like, oh yeah, I can do whatever now. It's like, no, you can't. You can't do whatever. You have to set an example. Anyway, that's like a whole tangent, but I forgive this person, not because what they did was okay, but because I just don't want to carry the weight of bitterness. Like, that shit is literally bitter, okay? It doesn't feel good in my heart. I don't want it, so I'm going to just toss it out. I'm going to forgive this person. And most importantly, though, it reminded me that softness is not a weakness. In fact, in a world that rewards loudness and overstimulation over everything, softness is radical. Choosing to stay soft, choosing to keep creating and to keep loving in a world that demands so much, that's its own kind of rebellion. So maybe next time when the pain comes knocking for you and me, let's, not shut the door on it. Instead, we can welcome it in and sit with it and listen to it, because then maybe we'll discover that the very thing that hurt us also has the power to set us free if we're willing to let it transform us. And thank you for my TED Talk. Thank you guys so much for listening to the pod. I really, really hope that my podcasts help you in some way. Come as you are. I'm not trying to change you or anything. Come as you are. Leave 1% better. That's my goal. And I really do hope that you guys, learn something. You guys, I gave you food for thought and you just feel seen and heard. I'm going to leave it here, and please support me by, and if you guys feel called to, please support my work. Everything that I create is 100% free. I don't get any money from doing this. So if you feel called to, you can support me by liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing. That's the easiest way to support me. But if you want to go a little bit more, I do have a donation box that is linked down below. So definitely not expected, but I appreciate it so much if you guys do decide to donate. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Love you guys so much, and know that you are never, ever alone. Mwah. Bye.